Here's one of the latest interviews from Rock and Metal Revival. If you want to hear the whole show, go to rmrshow.com. From the CD Drum Wars, there is Stand Up and Shout on Rock and Metal Revival. And Jerry, very drum heavy. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. I like it. And
Good
on
stuff.
the phone with us, we are honored to have with us Vinny-Appice. How you doing, Vinny?
I'm doing good. Thanks. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Vinny, I just got to ask you, I mean, what's it like to sit down and play the dual drums with your brother?
You know what? This is one of the best things in my whole career, looking over and seeing Carmine there, and we're playing together finally, and it's a really, really cool feeling for me, and I'm sure it is for him too. So we're having a ball doing this.
Now, was this the first time you two that have ever recorded together?
Actually, it is. I think I played some tom-tom overdubs on his solo record from years back, somewhere in the 80s, and that's about it. But this is the first time we actually released something with both of us on there, and hopefully we can do some future stuff where we go in the studio and write a couple songs together and really hone in on, some cool drum parts and stuff.
So are you going to be doing some touring with this, or are you?
Yeah, we're doing some dates in February that it looks like are on the East Coast in upstate New York, and we try to do some dates every month or two, and it's not like a one long tour, but we're doing a lot of flyouts and keep this going.
Well, I mean, it seems to me like it would be a no-brainer to get you guys together on the same record, but this had to be a project that's been in the works for a while, hasn't it? I mean, because you both got pretty busy schedules.
Yeah, back in the 90s, we did some drum clinics together, and that was the first time we did that, and the response was incredible. So after that, we said, we should do something together. It would be great. But we were both busy. We never got to it. And then about 3 years ago, we said, let's do this finally, and put it together. So we started out as doing a couple of drum clinics, and then that went over well. And then we thought, well, we want to be able to play more with this rather than drum clinics. So let's put together more of a show. So we got the band, and then we chose the songs to play. And so we incorporated the songs from our histories, from the bands we've been in, and then a couple of drum duets, a couple of drum solos, and then battles, and made it work. So, and we even wrote a song that's on the CD called Drum Wars, and that's on the album. It's a cool little anthem-y song. So we put the show together, and then as we kept playing and playing, as any band would do, it gets better and better, and we know what works and what doesn't work. So it's really smooth now. It seems to really work and turn into a high-energy rock show. Really cool show, something different.
So who's all in the band besides your brother?
Well, there's different bands we use. Sometimes in L.A. it was last band was Phil Soussan on bass. He played with Ozzy, and then Rowan Robinson on guitar,
Nice.
who played with Dio actually. And the singer's this friend of ours, Jim Crean. He's from Buffalo, New York. He's on vocals. So he does most of the vocals, and then in different parts of the country, we have different people we contact for the band. And they know the songs, and we rehearse, and then we do it like that.
Okay, well, over the years, Vinny, I've seen you play with Black Sabbath and with Dio, and we saw you here with Kill Devil Hill, and I can tell when you're drumming on this CD because, like I said, I followed your career. What's the difference in the drumming between you and your brother? I mean, your style-wise. Well,
style-wise, Carmine plays. Well, we always compare it to more. He's more like Gene Krupa. I'm more like Buddy Rich. I like the speed and the fast things. So I play a lot. I've been playing all the heavy stuff all my life. So I'm a lot harder hit or louder and more definitely louder in volume, than Carmine. And Carmine's played more of melodic stuff in his career. He's done more ballads. I don't think I've ever really played a ballad on stage.
That's a good point.
yeah. Carmine's played with Rod Stewart. That's a lot more melodic stuff than stuff I played. So and then tuning wise, we tune the drums different. He seems to tune his drums a lot deeper. Like his tom toms are a little looser than mine. He uses double bass. I use single bass. And the tuning's different. His snare drum's a little lower. Being that I hit and I like speed, you get more speed when the drum heads are tighter. So my snare drum's a little higher tuned. My toms are higher tuned. I'm only one bass drum. So there's a different sound, too. So it's interesting. But then yet we'll both play things the same. There's certain things that is like, it sounds like the same drummer, you know. So it's very interesting.
Did you drive your mom crazy when you guys were growing up, having two drummers in the house?
Yeah, but luckily Carmine
he was gone.
He's older than I am. He was gone. So they went through him, and then the band's rehearsing in the house. Then I started, and you know, I got the band in the basement. We're playing and stuff. So, but it made it easier for me because Carmine was successful. So it was easier for me to pursue a career in music, being that my parents could look at Carmine and go, well, he's done well, you know. So Vinny's got, you know, a good shot at this too. So made it a lot more easier for me to do my thing, you know.
You know, Vinny, I was talking to somebody today telling them that we were going to have you on the show, and he goes, oh, I saw him with Dio, and I saw him with Sabbath, and I said, did you know he played with John Lennon? And a lot of people kind of look at me strange when I tell them that you played with John Lennon at one time.
Yeah, because they don't associate. They know me from Black Sabbath and Dio and heavy music, and like, well, what was he doing with John Lennon? So what happened was, when I was like 15, 16, I had a band in New York, Brooklyn, New York. And a friend of the guitar players was Jimmy Iovine. And Jimmy was producing John at the Record Plant Studios in New York. And Jimmy liked our band, so he wanted to produce us. So he brought us in to do some demos in the studio. And then the owner of the Record Plant Studios, Roy, liked the band, signed us to a management deal. Gave us a rehearsal room in the record plant. For us, we just had our own free room. It was unbelievable, really.
Nice.
So we'd rehearse every night, and then we'd be there. And one night, Jimmy called and said, "Can you guys come down and do hand claps on a song?" So we went down, and it was John Lennon. We're all shitting, you know, going, "Oh my God, look, John Lennon!" We hear him over the headphones, you know, going, "Okay, we're going to take a from the verse." You know, it's fucking amazing. So we did hand claps on that song, Whatever Gets You Through the Night. That's me and my band.
Nice.
And a little later on, a couple days later, we're rehearsing, and John walks in our rehearsal place. So Jimmy told him we're upstairs, so he came hang out with us. He liked the band. And we started playing pool with him, and we became, you know, like sort of friends with him. And then he asked us to do a live gig with him. So we did this gig in New York City at the Hilton Hotel. It was a live TV broadcast around the world.
Wow.
And we played 3 songs with him, went on with these crazy outfits and stuff. And that was his last live appearance ever.
Whoa.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so I actually did his last live show. And then he went on to do 3 videos at the record plant for his own stuff, and we were the band. So I'm in it. I'm in one of them for a couple of seconds, but I was in there for all 3. And then he produced a singer friend of his. This chick was the owner's wife of the record plant, and we were the band. So we worked with him as a producer too. So it's pretty amazing. And I was like 16, you know, working with John Lennon.
Wow, that's nuts.
That's
I had
unbelievable.
No idea.
Yeah, and
that's cool.
You know the other.
And I never asked him for a picture, you know, like a fan. Like, I just treated it as, because at that point, you know, I was around my brother, I was around famous people, so I was cool. Like one time, Carmine brought Jeff Beck over to the house in Brooklyn, my mother's house, to eat Italian food on the Sundays, and Carmine said, you know, don't tell your friends. And so it's real cool, you know, hi, Jeff, hey, we just ate like normal people and never acted like a fan in any of the things I did. So I unfortunately didn't take a lot of pictures, or any with John, but I found some pictures. So
very cool. Well, you know, one of the questions I've wanted to ask you since we found out we were going to do this was when Black Sabbath got back together, and it was pretty evident that Bill Ward was not going to be playing drums with Black Sabbath. What was the reason behind you not sitting behind the kit? I mean, it seemed like a no-brainer to me.
So I thought I would rather sit home and there was new stuff on TV and stuff, you know.
I just never understood that, Vinny. I
was listening to Rock and Metal Revival on the radio. I don't,
You didn't have time.
You didn't have time to do the Sabbath thing.
I don't blame you.
I have time for this stuff. I might miss something. So it was not up to. It wasn't. They were produced by Rick Rubin, and I don't know Rick, so I think he was more in charge of who was going to play drums on it, unless they worked it out with Bill. So I'm not sure what happened, but I never received a call or anything, and saying, "Hey, would you want to come do this?"
Mm-hmm.
So it might also have been, I just did all the years with Heaven and Hell. So if I came back, it would be Heaven and Hell and Ozzy.
Yeah.
And then Ozzy would know what band he was in. Heaven and Hell.
I don't think he does now.
Yeah. Like, Heaven and Hell, Black Sabbath.
So we saw you with Heaven and Hell and with Black Sabbath, and you got the drums going up the sides, those big toms going up up over your heads. And when did you come up with that? And were you looking for rotator cuff problems?
No, but I got them.
When I heard you needed rotator cuff surgery, that's the first thing I thought.
Yeah.
Wow, hitting those things up above your head, that would hurt after a while.
Well, what happened a long time ago when I first joined Sabbath in 1980, I went down to play with the band, mainly as an audition, and I brought my little Ludwig set in my Mustang. No cases, it was a little set, 4 toms, concert toms, which are even smaller, and 1 bass drum. So I set up and we played, and Tony and everybody liked it. And then Tony said, "Can you make the set? Can you play double bass?" He wanted a bigger drum set. So I went, "No, but I could add some stuff." So at that point, I added another floor tom on the left, and I saw these big toms on stands. I said, "Let me get some of those," and those were the first aerial toms. So I had 2 big ones on the side, and then the extra floor, and another tom up front. So the set got bigger. So mainly Tony started me off with this, and then I kept adding drums and making them, basically adding them in the air. So I had 4, and then on the last Heaven and Hell tour, I had I think 10 or 12 drums up in the air, not even including on the floor. And there were drums behind me, so I was hitting those drums all facing forward and hitting behind me, and it really screwed my right shoulder up when I came off the tour. Man, I couldn't even move my arm,
Oof. Yeah,
So at that point, before we went on stage, me, Ronnie, and Tony were on one side of the stage while the intro tape's playing, and Geezer always went on the other side, and we're going. Ronnie saying he had stomach pains, because he was getting sick, and then Tony had some problems with his tendinitis, and I had the shoulder thing, and we just complained right before we go on. My shoulder, my stomach, my hand, and then we go up and just kill it.
Yeah, exactly. So on this new album, I noticed there's not a lot of cowbell. Is there a reason for that?
We put it in there, but I don't know. You can't hear it, so we kept saying more cowbell.
Yeah, I know.
Listen.
That's what I was thinking. This album just needs a little bit more cowbell.
Well, you must have a fever.
I do.
And only more cowbell can quench that.
That's it.
Well, Vinny, it seems like it's been forever since we got to see you out on tour. Anything else going on besides the Drum War project that you're working on right now?
Yeah, actually just finishing up a Dio record with the original Dio band, Vivian Campbell and Jimmy Vane on bass. His singer's Andy Freeman. He sings in a show called The Rock Vault in Vegas. Great singer. Cool. And we wrote songs, and we're just finishing up the last vocals next week. And we've done gigs, and people have gone crazy, seeing the band. The band's playing great together. It's a lot of fun. And we play all the Holy Diver, Last in Line stuff. And
nice.
So the new album came out great. We got a deal on Frontier Records. And,
very cool.
It's coming out great. So it's going to be a record that'll come out probably toward fall. And then we hope to tour after that and then concentrate on that. so I'm doing that, and then doing a metal all-star tour in the summer with Carmine. It's a bunch of guys, all metal guys. You can check that out, Metal All-Stars, and just a lot of stuff going on, you know.
So does Vivian Campbell got his metal chops back from his time in Def
Dude,
Leppard?
he is ripping it up.
Nice.
You hear some of these solos, you know. I played it for some guitar players, you know, and they're like, yeah, that's the old Viv, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, he's smoking on it.
Awesome.
Smoking.
Well, if people want to keep it, well, go ahead.
He could let it rip on this. This is their own thing, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, Vinny, if people want to keep up to date with what's going on with you, what's the best places to keep in touch?
You can go to my website, just my name, Vinny.com, and then there's drumwars.com. And the name of the Theo thing is called The Last in Line. There's a Facebook page. There's a web page up there, too. There's, you know, and it'll keep you updated on all this stuff.
Sweet.
Well, we appreciate you taking some time out to be on Rock and Metal Revival, and we're going to play another one off Drum Wars. This is the Dio classic, Holy Diver. And Vinny, we appreciate your time today on Rock and Metal Revival.
Oh, nice to be here. Thanks for having me on, and hope to see you guys soon. What area are you guys in?
We're in Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. It's nice and warm there.
Probably,
it's
beautiful.
Yeah,
we're sitting outside right now.
In our thongs.
Yeah.
You're sitting outside doing this. Nice. Great.
To catch the whole show of Rock and Metal Revival, all you have to do is check it out on these affiliates. Mega Rock Radio's on Saturdays from 11 a.m. Eastern Time, on Rock 101 KLOL on Saturdays 11 p.m. Eastern, on Z-Rock 106.9 KKZR Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Uncontrolled Noise Tuesdays at 1 a.m., Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern on UncontrolledNoise.com. And make sure that you leave them a message and tell them that you found Rock and Metal Revival on their stations. Enjoy this edition of Rock and Metal Revival.